Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, reaching you live from Lagos. And now to the pictures you sent to our eyewitness portal. And first is this one from Owerri in Imo State, showing a gas dealer refilling cylinders by the roadside. Our eyewitness reporter wants the authorities to check this dangerous act and avoid a fire incident. Next is this one from Warri in Delta State, showing a commercial bus loading under a traffic light with traffic wardens standing nearby, watching carelessly, he says. Our eyewitness reporter wants men of the Federal Road Safety Corps to restore sanity on the roads. We also have this one from Jebba-Mokwa Highway, showing a long traffic jam. Our eyewitness reporter says that this is the usual plight of the travelers on that road, and due to the bad conditions of the road, and therefore wants the government to help fix. And finally is this one from Surulere in Lagos State, showing a dilapidated building. Our eyewitness reporter says that this is the present state of the government college, Eric Moore, in Surulere. He wants government to help refurbish the school. We want to thank you so much indeed for sending in those pictures, as we ask that you keep them coming.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Senate has queried a 10 billion naira increase in the 2016 budget proposal of parastatals in the education sector. At a budget defense session at the National Assembly, the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions questioned why 98.1 billion naira was budgeted for the education parastatals in the 2016 budget proposal. The committee is also concerned over personal proposals of institutions, including unity schools and universities, which were reduced.
What's so golden about parastatals that they should gain at the expense of the university or colleges of education or polytechnics, etc., etc.? Because some of us feel that the parastatals actually are too many, and that it's these schools that are at the heart of education. So if anybody should gain, it should be unity schools, should be polytechnics, should be the universities. So if these parastatals are supposed to serve them and they are the one keep growing, the others are coming down, then we want to know why.
As part of efforts to curb sharp practices and revenue leakages across agencies and government, the Senate Committee on Marine Transport today visited the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency office in Lagos. Speaking during an interactive session with the management team at NIMASA, the Senate Committee Chairman, Ahmed Yerima, notes that the agency's budget proposal needs further verification before approval.
It's the maiden visit of members of Senate Committee on Marine Transport to government agencies in the sector with operational offices in Lagos. Their mission at the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, is clear. They are here for an interactive session with management and staff over the agency's budget proposal.
Have an in-depth look at the activities of this agency, NIMASA, undertaken in the past year, and the plan for the implementation of activities identified to be undertaken in the current year. We therefore require cooperation of the DG and all the management and staff of this agency. We'll be asking for not only information but documents that will help us to do our work, and I hope that these documents and information will be made readily available.
The Acting Director General of the agency, Haruna Jauro, also states some of the challenges facing the smooth running of NIMASA's operations.
One of the major challenges we have is that of manpower. The problem we have is not that we don't have the people around, but that to get them on our salary scale proves difficult because they are marketable in other oil companies that pay higher.
This is about the first time that NIMASA, Nigeria's apex regulatory and promotional maritime agency, is discussing its budget details before the Senate Committee on Marine Transport since its establishment in 2006.
The Minister of Power, Works and Housing has asked lawmakers to include non-custodian sentences, such as community service and correctional penalties, as part of sanctions in the proposed amendment of the Federal Road Safety Commission Act 2004. Mr. Babatunde Fashola said that the amendment of the prescribed stiffer penalties for traffic offences is timely, but must not achieve deterrence as envisaged by the proposed amendment. The minister made this proposal at the hearing organised by the House of Representatives Committee on Road Safety in Abuja. Our correspondent, Omelogo Nadi, reports.
This public hearing at the instance of the House of Representatives Committee on Road Safety is focusing on two issues. The amendment of the Road Safety Act 2004 to include penalties for certain traffic offences or increased penalties for existing ones, and to ensure enforcement of conditions for establishing, registering and operating driving schools.
Refusal to use pedestrian bridge where one is provided attracts a fine of about 20,000 naira. Hawking on pedestrian bridge and its precincts attract a fine of 25,000 naira. Violation of traffic lights attract a fine of 60,000 naira. Driving on walkway attracts a fine of 50,000 naira.
But the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, says Parliament should be more daring and innovative. Otherwise, these increased sanctions may not achieve the targeted deterrence.
I would propose that Parliament considers non-custodial sentences that inconvenience the perpetrator, and at the same time corrects them. Sanctions like community service, cutting a lawn in public and they were videoed and put on TV and those kind of things, cleaning public facilities, then compulsory retraining.
From the Labour Union, however, comes the proposal that these fines be increased to 100, maybe 200,000 naira for some of the offences, alongside the non-custodian sentences.
We felt that driving on a walkway is a height of impunity, and that the fine should be a major, apart from community service, the fine there should be up to 100,000 naira.
Enforcement is also a concern for the key players in road safety.
We have 36 offences, which to us is 44 in the notice of offence. Adding 6 more, that would be 36 plus 6, 42. The most important thing is the reformation of Nigerians towards the act of lawlessness. How do we get everybody to comply?
The enforcement agencies must be considered in terms of empowering them to make them more effective so that these laws will be effective.
The issues that still need to be fine-tuned before the Federal Road Safety Act can be amended are many, no doubt. But the target by these lawmakers is to ensure that it is a one-time amendment. And so they say that over the next few days or weeks, more stakeholders in road safety shall be invited to this public hearing to ensure that it is a success. Omelogo Nadi, Channels Television News.
You're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, reaching you live from Lagos. Let's now hand you over to our Abuja studio where Linda Hibe is standing by to take us through. Linda.
Hello, Gimba. Thanks for joining us in Abuja. Police authorities have intensified efforts to stem the tide of kidnapping in the southern part of the country. The Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arase, has promised that the police would continue to discourage the payment of ransom to kidnappers. The police boss was speaking at a one-day training for officers on anti-kidnapping organized by the National Crime Agency of the United Kingdom in Abuja.
Like a bad dream, the people of Olomoro in Isoko South local government area of Delta State woke up to the reality of their traditional ruler forcefully taken away from his palace by kidnappers. While community leaders are meeting to ensure the release of their rulers from his abductors, the Inspector General of Police is advising against payment of ransom.
Along the line, we now discover that the trends started moving into other geopolitical areas. And of recent, I'm sure you must have also read that now they are not targeting traditional rulers, especially in the Delta states, and it's becoming very, very worrisome. Our strategic response has always been to discourage the payment of ransom, because doing that we think will encourage the people to carry on their criminal activities. But at the same time, we are also very mindful about the safety of the people, the victims who are kidnapped.
With the increase in activities of kidnappers, the head of the National Crime Agency of the United Kingdom pledged to collaborate with the Nigerian police to tackle the menace.
This is not for us. This is not just a one-week course. This is an ongoing commitment to the Nigerian police force, probably annually at least, to come back and help train and work with. Because bear in mind, we do this for a slightly selfish purpose as well, because we do get people from the United Kingdom, from the rest of Europe, kidnapped within Nigeria. So when that happens, we work very closely with your guys, so we need to know we're all speaking the same language, as in police language, and we're all using the same tactics. Very important when we're dealing internationally on kidnaps.
The one-day training organised by the British High Commission is aimed at mapping out strategies on how to combat kidnapping in the country.
Now, coming up after the break, security forces in some states step up security efforts. When we return after the break, do stay with us.